explorers, my name is Nikhil John and I'm WWF-India's naturalist. Naturalist is someone who loves spending time outdoors and understanding nature. And personally, why I love being a naturalist is because I get an opportunity to get connected with citizens and children and teach them about nature in a fun and interactive way. So come, let's explore and experience nature together. We don't have to go to a very dense forest, wetland or a blue ocean to find nature. I mean, nature is all around us, even in towns and cities. And right now I'm at this place which is called as Sanjayvan, an urban forest which is located right in the middle of Delhi NCR. So you must be familiar with a lot of common birds like your house crow, your house sparrow, your common manna or even the rock pigeon. But there are many other bird species that you can find in the city areas. So let me give you an example of one of the common raptors that is flying right now above me and which is called as the black kite. Now I know many of you find a very hard time in differentiating between a kite and an eagle. But the best way to ID them is by looking at their tail. So remember that if you have a prominent V shape at the tip of the tail, that is your black kite, and if you have a prominent U shape at the tip of the tail, that is your eagle. Remember, this is the key feature. So you might know about this very beautiful looking bird that usually is seen perched on electrical wires or branches. It is none other than your white-throated kingfisher, which has blue dazzling wings, and the name is derived from the white patch on its chest. Now this bird also has a very strong bill which is designed to hunt or look for fishes from the water bodies. But a few know that this bird also hunts for scorpions, spiders, insects, but even frogs, mice and other small birds. How about this sleek black bird with feathers that flash in the light? Look at its forked tail. This is the black Drongo. It is a fearless bird often seen diving and chattering at other birds of prey to chase them away. And it has another quirky characteristic. It is an expert mimic. It can imitate other birds as well as other animals such as squirrels and macaques. Trees and bushes can be your home to a lot of mammals in urban areas and in the forest as well. Some of the local mammals that you can see in your neighborhood or in your urban forest include your palm squirrels, which right now are calling all around me. Yes, that is your palm squirrel. Macaques and langurs frolic on branches. We locally call them as bandar, and the Indian grey mongoose that runs scurrying through bushes in a flash, which we locally call them as nevla. So now let's discuss about some of the mammals that are active during the night time, and let me speak about this one mammal which we often think of it as a blood-sucking mammal, which is far beyond truth, and that is your bats. Now bats typically feed on fruits, different insects, frogs and even other bats. India is home to one of the largest bat species in the world, which is the Indian flying fox. It's so large that its wings can span sometimes up to 5 to 6 feet. Do you know why flying foxes are called so? It's because their large snout and ears give them a fox-like appearance. A creature of the night far more elusive than bats is the civet. You may spot this animal scurrying through the dark only if you are lucky and very, very quiet. A civet looks like a cat, which is why this animal is sometimes referred to as the civet cat. It has a long body, short legs, and a long furry tail. It is an expert climber and can climb up trees and buildings thanks to its sharp claws. Overall, you can spot a lot of birds and mammals around you, but you can find a lot more. Your habitats like your parks, gardens, city forest, and even farmlands are a home to a lot of reptile species. Let me give you a few examples, starting with something that you find on the wall, the common house gecko or the chipkili, to your oriental garden lizards or the girgit that you can find in your garden areas. But did you know that our concrete jungle is a home to a lot of snake species? Sadly, snakes are given a very bad reputation because of the myths that are surrounding them. But the fact is that they want to stay away from you, and not all of them are venomous. So in India, we have around 300 species of snakes, out of which 60 are venomous. The 4 snakes that account for most of the bites by venomous snakes in India are known as the Big Four: the Indian spectacled cobra, the common krait, the saw-scaled viper, and the Russell's viper. But don't worry, if you spot a snake in your neighborhood, it's most likely a non-venomous one, but better to be safe. So if you observe a snake, I would say don't go near the snake. Do not disturb them. In fact, use this opportunity to appreciate them and to observe the behavior. See what the snake is doing, and you'll be fascinated to observe those reactions. The checkered keelback is a snake so named for the checkered pattern in variation of green, yellow, and brown all over its body and its keeled scales. Although it's a freshwater snake, in cities it is found in gardens, sewers, and other damp to wet places. I'm sure you've seen a picture or videos of python. They can be huge, but did you know there could be a python hidden away right in your neighborhood? This snake has usually yellowish white-brown patches. This snake can look scary because of how massive it can be, but it's a non-venomous snake and would actually prefer to slither away from you and to be left alone. If you find a snake in your home, don't panic, and definitely don't chase it or hurt it. Call the wildlife department in your city or a snake rescue organization and request that the snake be moved to a safe place where it can live in peace. Okay, so I have a question for you. How many different types of insects can you spot around you? If you look very closely in your backyards or in your green spaces, you can find a wide variety of insects. Over 1 million species of insects have been discovered and described, but there are many more insects out there. It is estimated that there may be as many as 5 to 10 million species of insects on Earth. Of these, so many can be found in our backyards. You might recognize the Indian black ant, a large ground nesting ant, the Indian honeybee, and the potter wasp. Look down on the ground in a green space or check plants carefully, and you might discover a whole new world of insects like the brightly colored jewel bug. So the next time you are outdoors, look up and look down to spot interesting insects. Now, when we think of insects, the first thing that comes to our mind is butterflies. Now, there are some common butterflies that you can spot in your urban parks. Butterflies like plain tigers, pansies, it can be a lemon pansy, a blue pansy, or a peacock pansy. Butterflies like your lime swallowtail, and butterflies like your yellow-orange tip. Okay, so let me tell you about this fascinating butterfly, which looks as if it has 2 heads. This is the common silver line with wings that have orange, white, and black bands. To confuse predators, this butterfly has a false head near the base of its hind wing. There's a clear marking like an eye with a thread-like tails that looks like an antenna. Don't you think that's a smart adaptation? Dragonflies and damselflies are flying insects that quickly catch our eyes with their striking colors and wings. You can sometimes spot these needle-like insects resting on walls and surfaces around you and hovering near ponds and lakes. They are experts at flight and can fly upwards, downwards, backwards and forwards, and they can even hover in mid-air, almost like little helicopters. Different species of fauna that we observe find food and shelter in your trees. But how well do you know the tall guardians of a city? Now, in order to identify a tree, we need to look at 4 key features. First is the shape and the size of the tree. Second is look at the bark and feel the texture. Third is you need to look at the shape of the leaf or the different types of leaf that you have. And fourth is you need to observe different fruits, flowers or seeds that grow on the tree. Now, our city has a lot of variety of common trees, and one of the common trees that you can find is your sacred fig or your peepal tree. Now, in order to identify this, we need to look at the shape of the leaf. If you notice, it's a heart-shaped leaf with a pointed tip. Okay, so let me introduce you to this very special tree that we have over here. This is your red silk cotton, or we locally call this as samil. Now, a very interesting feature that you might want to notice is the thorny-like structure it has on its bark, and it is going till the mid part of the tree. Now, also remember, this tree is a magnet to a lot of bird species during its flowering season. And during the month of April or May, the red silk flower blooms, and you see a lot of bird species like your parakeets, like your yellow-footed green pigeons, hornbills and other birds. In the summertime, you can see a lot of long hanging bunch of golden flowers. It is none other than your Indian laburnum, your golden shower, or we call it as amaltas in Hindi. Now, after the flowering season, in order to recognize the tree, you have to look at the long hanging pods. Now you know what kind of flora and fauna you can observe in your backyards. So step outside and explore your backyard's ecosystem. You never know what you might find. Watch the next video to understand how you can prepare yourself for a nature trail and a few tips and tricks that can help you. So get exploring and all the best.